Our host, Jack Dorsey, who I've gotten to know. He's got two companies. Both are fascinating. One is clearly a big success, and the other is coming along, and maybe you can ask him a question afterwards about it, because I think it's the second one that I find most fascinating. It's so different, and it really can change commerce around the world. My name is Mike Bloomberg, and on behalf of all New Yorkers, it's a pleasure to welcome Twitter to New York City. They have had a minor presence in our town for a while, but now they're making it official by opening their East Coast hub right here at 340 Madison. Now, why not 140 Madison? I don't know, but I'll assume there wasn't enough room down there for all of its company's characters. Not easy to write Twitter jokes, guys. Come on. But before we talk about Twitter's arrival in the city, I did want to say a few words about something that's no doubt on many people's minds, and that's that one that feels especially relevant considering where we are, and that's the passing of Steve Jobs. When we learned last night that Steve had died, I think the sadness was so profound because we all did really understand that a remarkable American journey had just come to a close. In so many areas of the human experience, Steve had pushed the frontiers of what's possible, and he took all of us along for a ride. And that was just, this country and this world is a lot better because of it. One of the words that's frequently used to describe him has been visionary, but I think it's fair to say Steve was much more than that. A visionary reimagines the future. Steve had the energy, passion, and business acumen to bring that future to life in the most creative, surprising, and successful ways. And that's the hallmark of a true entrepreneur. He made technology both exciting and elegant. He revolutionized animation. He put the computer in our pockets, and by virtue of that made our lives entirely mobile. The iPhone that I carry and the iPad in front of me have both fundamentally changed how I communicate and how I access and store information and how I conduct business. And that is true for probably everybody in this room. And we use many of the same tools and innovations throughout city government to solve problems and serve New Yorkers more efficiently and more intuitively. So I don't think that you can overstate or overappreciate Steve's impact on technology. How it's made, how it's developed, and how it's used, even how it's marketed. Steve's legacy, however, will not just be the iPhone and the iPad. No more than Edison's legacy is the incandescent bulb, or Da Vinci's the flying machine, innovations that have long been surpassed. Steve's legacy 100 years from now and 100 years after that will be the feeling that life can be made better, that life can be made more productive, that life can be more fun. That feeling, felt by each new generation, is really what changes the world. And that's what brings us here today. On a happier note, there are but a few companies that have been able to harness the power of technology and change the world in a similarly profound fashion. And one of them is the company that we're so proud to welcome to our city today, and that's Twitter. Twitter has helped spark revolutions across the globe, both on the ground and online. What's just as amazing is that Twitter has only been around for 5 years, and yet it's already getting hard to remember a world in which Twitter did not exist. The growth in its number of users has just been astronomical, and our city government has been excited to be a part of that. By our most recent estimates, our city agencies manage more than 65 different Twitter accounts, which combined have more than 300,000 followers. Twitter allows us to engage with New Yorkers like never before, connecting them to services and activities and broadcasting important news all in real time. For instance, agencies like the Parks Department and the Transportation Department use Twitter to promote events and advance their public service campaigns. We've also used the Ask Mike hashtag to solicit questions from New Yorkers, which I've then tried to answer on my Friday morning radio show. And during the critical days leading up to Hurricane Irene, at NYC, Mayor's office was one of the most reliable sources for accurate information about the storm. Twitter even helped us get the word out by promoting some of those tweets for free. And our chief digital officer, who knew we'd have a chief digital officer, Rachel Stern, continues to explore strategies to maximize city government's use of Twitter and move us closer to our ultimate goal of becoming the world's leading digital city. So we are excited to see Twitter make New York its second home, and it really makes a lot of sense. After all, we are the capital of media. We are trendsetters. We are located right at the intersection of commerce and culture and creativity, and we are home to an incredibly talented and incredibly innovative workforce. And that's one of the big reasons why New York City's tech industry is growing leaps and bounds. In fact, last year we passed Boston in the volume of the venture capital investments that's heavily focused on digital startups. We are also home to a growing community of startups who are creating useful business tools that integrate with Twitter. And there are literally thousands in our city who are developing these kinds of applications. And having Twitter here as well is going to help them thrive and expand. And each time when we can help a startup get off the ground or a company like Twitter open its doors, what it really means to New York City is jobs, something that is so important in this day and age. Innovation fuels job growth, and creating jobs is our number one priority. And that's why we're gearing up our support for the tech industry and are doing what it takes to continue attracting the best and the brightest to our city. We're making this happen by investing in new initiatives that support entrepreneurs, such as business incubators, which provide discounted office space for startups. Instead of a suburban California garage, we want the next great technology company to be built right here. And that's why we've also established the NYC Entrepreneurial Fund, a public-private partnership investing in early-stage companies and the first of its kind outside of Silicon Valley. And as we continue to invest in our quality of life, our parks, our streets, and schools, which has made us a place where people want to come, live, and start a business, it's also where they come and want to work. And businesses that depend on intellectual capital will come here and will thrive here because the people that they need to become great have already chosen to live here and raise their families here. Over the past several months, I've been visiting some of the new tech companies that are growing and creating jobs here, companies like Foursquare and Etsy and Tumblr. I remember asking one of the employees working at Tumblr how many had grown up in New York City, all of the people there, and he said maybe 3 had. Out of a whole bunch. And I think what that says, it proves that young people are flocking to New York because this is where there is opportunity. This is where there is excitement. And their jobs help support jobs in every other industry. And with our great quality of life that we've worked so hard to maintain, safe, clean streets and great cultural institutions and parks and a financial sector that can support everybody, with our amazing talent and capital, there's every reason to believe that Twitter is going to thrive here. And there's also every reason to believe that that might inspire the next Twitter or the next Apple to be born in our city. So on that note, let me introduce some of the people who've helped make this happen, starting with the chairman of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. In the wake of Steve Jobs' passing, we will no doubt look to the next generation of great innovators and entrepreneurs. And as one of the pioneers of the digital age, Jack certainly is part of this group. He conceived an idea that many at first discounted. I know what that feels like. And he has turned that idea into something that many of those same people now cannot live without. And thank goodness I've experienced that as well. As we've seen during events like the earthquake in Virginia or Hurricane Irene, Twitter really is so relevant and so useful, and we couldn't be more proud to be home to their East Coast headquarters. Jack?
Thank you, Matt. Well, thank you, Mayor, and all of you for the warm welcome. We love New York City, and we're really happy to be here. I want to thank you for continuing to be one of the country's leading innovators in your role of mayor after a trailblazing career of instantly connecting people to streams of the most relevant information in real time. Mayor Bloomberg and his administration have effectively used Twitter and other technologies to engage, inform, and serve New York residents in real time. For example, the city of New York's use of Twitter for emergency communications in the days leading up to Hurricane Irene is a powerful and lasting example of innovative civic engagement. And the mayor's creative and groundbreaking roadmap for the digital city is something that I can't wait to see fulfilled and replicated by other cities across the country. New York has clearly found Twitter valuable in getting the latest neighborhood updates, perspectives from government officials, news and deals from small businesses across the city, and the latest on the Yankees' forthcoming win tonight. This office is...
I invited him, but he can't come.
I can't come. I have to fly back to San Francisco, unfortunately. This office is just the first step for Twitter, building a lasting presence. New York City is the city with more people on Twitter than any city around the world. There are many opportunities for Twitter here in New York. There's also a significant investment and economic growth opportunity for emerging from Twitter's developer ecosystem that New York can benefit from. As large companies and global brands, many of which are based here, look for better tools to help them get the most out of Twitter, a strong ecosystem of companies is growing to address this huge market opportunity. In a 6-month period this year, the Twitter ecosystem saw about $500 million in investment. In New York City, these companies are thriving. There are thousands of Twitter developers located in New York City, including the venture-backed Social Flow, WiredSet, Chartbeat, and CrowdTwist, to name just a few. New York has the largest Twitter developer population outside of California in the United States and provides us with yet another reason to look forward to our growing presence here in New York. We thank the mayor for his vision and understanding on what it means to create 21st century jobs. And we understand that you have an engineering degree. We're hiring as you consider your options in the future.
I have 817 days from now, I'm going to need a job. So.
And with that, I'll invite the mayor back to the podium to send the ribbon-cutting tweet to signify the opening of our New York office. Thank you.
Jack, thank you. Our city's first ever chief digital officer, and maybe the first chief digital officer in the world, Rachel Stern, has done a great job of harnessing digital media to make city government more responsive and more efficient. She's got lots of great ideas, and every day there's something new, and we're all going to benefit from that, and these things will last a long time and hopefully set the standard for future administrations in our city to understand that if you think out of the box and you try to use new things and stay ahead of the curve, you really can make this city better. Rachel?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Jack, for welcoming us here today. And I just wanted to reiterate, we're so honored to welcome Twitter to New York City and to welcome the opening of their East Coast headquarters. Twitter is important to New York City in so many different ways, and especially crucial to realizing New York City's digital potential, as we outlined in the roadmap for the digital city. For one reason, Twitter is hiring many people, bringing jobs to New York City, and we're happy to welcome them to the media center of the universe. And in addition, as Jack mentioned, they're creating an entirely new ecosystem and supporting the growth of other companies and other aspects of this industry that really will exponentially grow the media industry. As part of the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, this is absolutely crucial, as we know that this industry is fundamentally changing every single day. In addition to that, Twitter has been a phenomenal partner to the city. Starting with the introduction of the roadmap for the digital city, Twitter was there as one of our founding public-private partnerships to evolve the way that we are serving and engaging New Yorkers. As was mentioned, we reach about over 300,000 New Yorkers every day through more than 65 Twitter accounts that city employees across the city use to serve, inform, and engage New Yorkers. A few examples of these are events that you can find out through at NYC Parks. You can engage and ask a question to the mayor through the hashtag AskMike. And in addition, you can find out about crucial information and services through at 311 NYC, which is, again, evolving the very concept of customer service. And this is thanks to the many, many hardworking people across the city of New York who are doing so much to innovate and serve individuals across the city. Beyond that, Twitter has also been very crucial during Irene, helping us to get the message out. Over the course of Irene, there were over 32,000 tweets that contained at NYC Mayor's office specifically, not even just Irene, showing that it became an absolutely crucial lifeline for providing real-time information at a critical moment. And beyond that, just last week, we held our first ever social media summit for city employees, and Twitter was there to support and inform and train our city employees about how they can best leverage this tool as they engage and truly are our digital ambassadors to the city of New York. So again, I want to thank you for both supporting our industry, supporting more jobs, and also helping New York City government to be even more relevant and to serve even more New Yorkers every single day. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back to the mayor.
Rachel, thank you. Under the leadership of Seth Pinsky, the city's Economic Development Corporation really has been focused on growing our tech sector and creating jobs. Seth, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Thank you. You know, I just returned actually from Egypt a couple of weeks ago, and if you want to understand the relevance of Twitter in the modern age, just walk around the streets of Cairo and talk to some of the people. This literally is a revolutionary piece of technology, and something that I think we're still learning how to harness in this modern age. Understanding that, I wanted just to extend my welcome to Twitter, to New York City. I believe that Twitter's decision to open its East Coast headquarters here shows the growing role that New York City is playing in the innovation economy. Twitter is joining a growing roster of established technology companies that are expanding here in New York, and it's also joining a dynamic startup community that is fast becoming one of the most important here in the United States and around the world. We're seeing incredible growth in the number of patents produced here in New York City and incredible growth in the amount of venture capital invested here in New York City. And by many other indications, innovation is fast on the rise. And we're not just working to expand the success that we've had so far. We're setting our sights on an even more ambitious goal, which is to make ourselves the center of technology and innovation in the 21st century globally. Whether that's through the training programs that thousands of New Yorkers have gone through, helping them to learn how to start businesses, how to navigate difficult economic environments, whether it's through the first municipally sponsored media lab, or through our innovative competition, which is designed to attract or expand a major engineering facility here in New York City, we're laying the groundwork for achieving our ambition. So let me just take this opportunity once again to thank Twitter very much for this vote of confidence in our city, and to say that I look forward to working with Twitter going forward on our many initiatives. I think having Twitter as a partner would be an enormous benefit to us, and of course working with them more generally to expand their presence here in New York City. Thank you very much.
Seth, thank you. We are gathered in the district of two state representatives who we work closely with. State Senator Liz Krueger and Assemblyman Dan Quart. Dan is brand new to the job, so good luck. Let them, why you want to do it, I don't know, but no, seriously, Dan's a good guy. He's going to make a difference. He's got the enthusiasm to really help the city, and we need good representation in Albany, and I think we have that in Liz Krueger and in Dan Quart. Liz, you want to say a few words first?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm at Liz Krueger, and I'm the state senator representing Midtown and East Side of Manhattan. So I want to welcome Twitter and say you've come to the best district in the state of New York. So we're delighted to have you. And yes, I want to reiterate how Twitter and other social media and the digital age changes everything every day. As a legislator, much of my work is done on the floor of the Senate in the Capitol in Albany, and I sit there with my iPad where I can real-time Twitter what is going on the floor of the Senate to whoever would like to read my Twitter account. I can keep people updated on vote counts on critical pieces of legislation, such as the same-sex marriage bill we passed at the end of June, where I believe I had 1,000 followers tracking the votes that night. I can use my iPad to do Google searches on relevant data while I'm in debate on the floor of the Senate. The potential for this revolution in information and communication one-to-one and worldwide is extraordinary, and New York City should be the center of it. And I'm delighted that Twitter is joining us here in that constant expansion and evolution. Thank you.
Liz, thank you. Dan Quart, Dan.
Thank you for having me here today. As the mayor pointed out, I've been in office all of 20 days, so I cannot, in all seriousness, take responsibility for having brought Twitter here, but I do stand here with great pride that Twitter has decided to place its East Coast office in the Assembly District I'm lucky to represent in Albany. As Senator Krueger said, much of the work in Albany deals with some of the issues she was talking about, but they also deal with economic development. And when we go to Albany for the next legislative session in January, it will be incumbent upon Senator Krueger and I to work with the mayor's office so that the next Jack Dorsey can come to East Midtown to place his or her satellite office here or East Coast office, and that is how we can wrestle out of this recession. So I thank Mr. Dorsey for relocating Twitter here, and I share with him his confidence that at 10:30 this evening, Mariano Rivera will be closing out for the Yankees. So thank you.
I will be happy to take some questions, but before we do, I just wanted to also express my and our condolences to Steve Jobs' wife and kids. We keep talking about technology and the impact that Steve has made on this world. But we shouldn't forget that he was a family guy who left the people behind who loved him very much, and we'll miss him. And we'll miss him in a business sense, but they'll miss him in a much more personal sense. And so our prayers are with Steve and our thoughts with his family. We'll be happy to take some questions. Sir.